Hello and welcome to the BarHaven podcast. I'm Jack. I'm the coordinator with BarHaven.
Hi, I'm Carlo. I'm the Master of Fables.
And I'm Crystal, Maven of Coin.
I'm also here. I'm Jeb, the audio engineer.
Awesome. We're super excited to get episode 3 up and running. If you don't know BarHaven is a nerd community in Houston, Texas at the moment. We're going some places, Katy, League City, and all that stuff. We partner with bars, breweries, taverns, cafes to play D&D and other tabletop games. So if you're ever interested in playing, come on down. We'll have a great open pop in and play game ready for you. Great adventures, drink discounts and all that jazz. But if you haven't listened to us before and you're just starting on episode 3, we have a couple things today to talk about. Crystal, if you don't know Crystal is a founder of ours. I don't know what we're calling us anymore.
I think founder is fine.
Found it like a mangy cat in a garbage box.
Not finders. That means you discovered it. And it was already there. But founders.
English has never been my strong suit.
It's the only language you speak.
Lying is my strong suit.
I've never been a good liar. But I have been good at starting businesses.
Yes.
And one of the things that our business has started is a podcast. And I'm going to say a couple of our topics for today. Today, we're going to talk about some super fun things. One is playing the role versus being the role. And the other is hot takes in D&D. That second one, I'm really excited for. I have hot takes, and I know my fellow D&D players, Carlo and Crystal and Jib, have played D&D probably longer than I have, so I'm excited to hear what they have to say. But I'm actually going to get started with Carlo. Carlo,
yes.
Do you have something about our first topic, playing the role versus being the role?
Well, I want to clarify what we're going with for that distinction. So before we go into it, if my understanding is being the role is when you distance yourself from the character. The character is doing that because that's what my character would do, so I have no say on what they're going to do. Is that what? And then playing the role is I am playing this character, so even if the character wouldn't necessarily do this, I'm choosing to control the character and have him do this. I will find my reasoning. Is that what we're talking about today?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. To go with the great example of everyone has their edgy rogue who decides, well, my character would absolutely rob my friends because that's what my character would do. Or I'm going to kill the person we've all agreed we're going to spare because I have to kill them. I'm a rogue. And the being the role is the person that's like, well, of course I have to kill them. I'm playing a rogue and rogues kill people. So I kill them. Even though the rest of the people in the room, these presumably friends, colleagues, human beings that I'm interacting with in the real world have asked me not to commit certain acts in game and saying, well, I have to, I'm a rogue. And this is from, like I said, as I've said on the podcast many times, I've done a bunch of stuff and a lot of it has been theater and film. And in a role, you do have to have the mindset of, this is what my character would do. This is who I am a person playing that role. Many years ago, I was in a production of The Mousetrap. I won't give away the ending. It's a thing. You're not allowed to give away the ending. But I was in The Mousetrap as a character of Christopher Wren, who is over-the-top gay stereotype, which was a lot of fun to play. He is often played completely over the top. But all he talks about is how he meets a girl for the first time. They're going to be best friends. They swap recipes. And he immediately goes into interior decorating for the house. Like that Agatha Christie was very lazy. But when he first arrives in the scene, he starts talking about the way the house is laid out and how he loves it. And he's an amateur interior decorator and blah, 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 blah. One of the nights of the show, I step on the stage and they have forgotten to put the furniture back in place for the beginning of the show. So one of the doors just has one of the entrances that the killer is supposed to like appear in for a moment, for a little jump scare, is completely covered by a chair. Now, my character wouldn't just go over and start rearranging furniture. That makes no sense. He talks about it, and his first line is literally, I love how you've set up the room. And everyone on stage was just freaking out because they know we're supposed to have a reveal there later in this scene. So Christopher Wren goes, I love what you've done with this room, except this, I hate this. And I just grabbed the chair and moved. Could you help me? And then the girl runs over and she helps me, and we moved it to where it's supposed to be. Little pieces of tape on the floor, and we put it there, and like, so much better for the flow. And she's like, you're absolutely right. And then she just blanked on me because she did not remember her line. Like, you know what? If you have some grains and a little white rice, we can really make a fun dinner. She's like, oh, that's where we're supposed to be. Yes, I was just about to make dinner. Let me help you. And I brought us all back and got going. That is, in my mind, playing the character. Here's what we must do as the people playing the game. We all need to be on the same team. We are going to go fight the dragon. And our characters may like, well, my character's an assassin, so he wouldn't do that because, well, he doesn't know the other players don't want him to. Your character is not, I apologize. Our characters are not real people. We are real people. The players at the table are real people. That's who you must serve first. And you must find in yourself as a player or a performer, because it's also acting advice, you must find in yourself a reason to make the character do the obviously correct thing. And for me, that's the big distinction. Having that presence of mind of, well, my character would do this, but that's dumb. That's bad story. That's bad writing. I'm going to fix it because I'm in control of my character, not the other way around.
That's fair.
I like how you subtly told my story there, because when Carlo kept referencing the rogue was just like, I can't know the other players don't want me to. This is a game I ran.
Oh.
I didn't mean to steal from. My intention was to set you up.
Okay,
I promise.
It was a good lead-in.
it was a good lead-in. So began as Carlo described, and this was a newer player, and I honestly do not believe that they meant to be, the internet term of that guy. I think they were just kind of stuck in definitions because, he was one of the people who showed up without a character sheet. We provided a character sheet. He picked assassin rogue, and he saw the words assassin rogue and decided that was the only thing he could possibly do. And I was actually floundering a little bit because it was very obvious. Everyone's just like, no, don't kill this guy. We want to try talking to him. And he's like, but I'm an assassin rogue. That's what I do. I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And various things along that. And I first tried to solve it in game. Don't do this. Don't solve out of game issues in game. Because first I had him roll inside, and of course he failed. I don't know what I was expecting. It's not like the dice would cooperate in this situation. He's like, I literally can't know. And I'm like, pause. We're putting the game on pause. Because every single person at this table has told you that is not what they want to happen.
Yeah, teamwork.
And I think it's not only important to keep in mind that D&D is a game, not based in reality. I'm looking at you physics majors. It's not based in reality. But it's a cooperative game. And when you do things like, I don't have a choice, first of all, it's your character, my dude.
Yeah.
You always have a choice.
Yes.
Second of all, when your fun costs other people fun, I think that's really the only wrong way you can play D&D. There's a lot of talk, and we are talking about role play, embodying characters and stuff, which obviously leans more into the narrative side of D&D. And I don't want this to come across as judgmental against people who are more into the mechanics or the mathematics of it. If that's what everyone at your table is doing, or if that's what everyone at your table is cool with you doing, that is correct. The only wrong way to play D&D is when you're costing people their fun.
Yeah. I usually play, so I have free play. I know a lot of DMs are rules based and dice based and only 5th edition everything or whatever type of tabletop game they're running. But I'm kind of free play. But as long as you're following the story and are aware of the other people's, other participants of the game, you can do whatever you want. You want to join the bad guys? Let's do it, join the bad guys game. But, you have to be aware of all your other players and the direction that they kind of want to go. You can't, like the last episode, we talked main character syndrome. There's probably 3 to 5 other people in your game that also want to participate in the story. You can't just go and say, I'm an assassin, it's just what I do. Well, just 5 other people saying, don't do that.
Play a character that's fun to play with.
Yeah,
there you go.
Exactly. There you go.
It's a great way to put it. It's an oddly simple rubric of play characters fun to play with and listen to the group and see what they want to do. If you're all going to have fun joining Xanathar's men and burning Waterdeep to the ground, is everyone have fun with that? Cool, let's go, let's do it. But it does have to be in service of that we're all having fun, and you have to look at the group. And I'm saying this principally from a professional game mastering position. Mm-hmm. Look at your group. Is that what you all want to do? Cool. If I'm paid to run that game, I'm going to run that game. Absolutely. I'm going to give you some stiff competition, give you troubles, but my point is for you to have fun. If you want to play that game, that's the game we're playing. In a home game, a game where I'm here for fun, I will flat out put my foot down. Oh, no, I'm not. And I've done this. There was a party that found essentially it was a drug cartel, and they were sent there to stop this gang. They found out, they make drugs. Mm-hmm. It's a drug farm. Oh, we want to take it over. And they're like, so how much gold do we make by selling drugs this week? I told them I don't do spreadsheets for fun. So you can either walk away from the farm, burn it down like you're supposed to be heroes, or you're going to get another DM because I'm not going to do homework to learn what it takes to run a drug cartel in D&D.
If I
don't
recall,
have fun with that.
If I recall, this predated Breaking Bad.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So you couldn't even blame television for the inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just we want to do this thing. I'm like, no, that's not fun for me. So I was like, we're going to move on, or we're going to move on and do something else, or I'll give you a lump total because you sold it. But that's all we're doing. I'm not going to do that extra homework.
I mean, I guess especially if you ain't paying your DM to DM for you, they're one of the players too.
Yeah.
Like they should be enjoying themselves as well.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy the money enough that I would have put up with that had they been paying me.
Because you will do spreadsheets for pay. But there's a YouTuber DM named Seth Skorkowski. Really enjoy his videos, but one of the things he said that I really liked is everyone at the table is a player. A DM or a GM is nothing but a specialized player.
That's a very good point. I like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, this is why, to Jack's point, I wanted to bring up at the beginning to specify what we meant, because there is often the discussion of role play ROLE versus role play ROLL. And for me, I put in my mind, I try to force my mind to put it in these two categories. There is role play, which with LE, and then there's wargaming.
Oh,
when
yeah.
It's about the numbers, and this is the exact reading of the thing.
Isn't that just Warhammer? Sorry.
Arguably, but whatever system you want. If you want the system to be all powerful and work as though they are the real world physics, like no, this is how water behaves at this temperature on this planet without question, and that's how it works. And I know it doesn't always work that way, but if you want to play the rules of your system that way, if everyone's having fun that way, then that's the right way to do it, and that is rule of cool. Mm-hmm. And then rule of cool is one. The other one where there is no specific rule for I want to jump this way into the gelatinous cube so that it slows me down on my descent to break my fall because I have a ring of acid immunity, so that would break my fall, right? There's no rule for that. But you know what? That sounds fun. Let's figure out what we're going to do at our table. As long as everyone there is having fun with it, that's the right call.
Yeah.
That's why I just wanted to specify. It's not like we're not going to come down like wargaming is dumb. Enjoy your system your way, as long as everyone's truly enjoying it.
I was watching some of my friends play their online game a couple of days ago, and they were just testing the limits of in character, testing the limits in this world of the spell Liamon's Tiny Hut.
Yeah.
In order to prepare for a fight, because the DM was like, you can just test out the spell in world if you want. And I remember one person asked, does it count as an object? Can I cast enlarge on Liamon's Tiny Hut?
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
It's a spell effect. It's not
Remember
an
our first episode?
That's my ruling.
No, I was sitting in the call muted because I'm not in the game. I didn't want to interrupt.
Very good.
My thought process is, no, this is a spell. That's a thing created by spell. It's not an object. But the DM said yes. And I'm like, hell yeah, that sounds like it could be a whole hell of a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds like a great ridiculous world, because that precedent. Because as we'll eventually get to, I promise, we're going to do the 4 pillars of gaming. One of them is the wizard, who the position of making your rules follow a logic that suits your world, and then being beholden to those rules. That's what I call precedent. If I can cast enlarge reduce on a spell effect, then what happens if I enlarge booming blade? Does that mean if they move at all? Does it make the ability more powerful? So not 5 feet. What if they move 1 foot? Does it go off now?
I mean, the difference is one is persistent, one is a immediate effect.
Fair enough. How about a wizard, when they can conjure like a little bitty object? Is it conjuration where you can just make an object?
Are you thinking of tiny object?
No. One of the wizards, their ability is they can just make a item, create a physical. Like, I want a chair. There's a chair.
Oh yes, I believe it's conjuration.
I think
should be.
One of the wizards. I
think Jib is looking it up.
I am.
Well, one of the wizards has an option.
Here it is. Start School of Conjuration. Starting at 2nd level, you can select. When you select the school, you can use this. You can use your action to conjure up an inanimate object in your hand or on the ground in an unoccupied space that you can see within 10 feet of you. This object can be no longer than 3 feet on a side and weigh no more than 10 pounds, and its form must be that of a non-magical object that you have seen. The object is visibly magical, radiating dim light out to 5 feet. And it disappears in 1 hour, blah, 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 blah.
So now if I cast enlarge on that, does that mean the light goes out exponentially? Do I have a giant glowing chair? Do I have a tiny glowing chair?
But I don't see a world in which you can't cast enlarge on it, because you can cast enlarge on an object.
Oh, well, it does say it can be no more then. So it also says it can't be.
That's another layer of interpretation. You're right.
Yeah. So every precedent you set, which is fun, which I think is a really fun aspect of D&D, because it always is like, okay, what does our table do with this? Or you go on online and you ask Jeremy Crawford, and he maybe answers you, and then again you decide whether or not you care what Jeremy Crawford says you're allowed to do.
I really enjoy interpreting the rules and how things fit together. I don't know, it brings me like an amount of joy. Might be part of why I enjoy DMing, but.
Oh yeah, I love arguing about inconsequential things. Yes, I said D&D is inconsequential. Ooh. Stay tuned for hot takes later. But just in the big scheme of things, don't get me wrong, I love D&D. Believe me, D&D is my life now. No exaggeration. But just like, when I'm having to deal with like real world problems, I fucking love arguing about spell effects.
I think it's fun. I think especially when players are paying attention for like a long-term game. When you said something on, session 2, session 3, and then they bring up the exact same thing for a different scenario on session 60, and you either have to say, "Oh, you're right," or I messed up, and then keep rolling with it.
I like saying both. Like, "Oh, I messed up." Yeah, that's how that works, though. Let's ride.
Might as well do both. You're here for entertainment.
My in-game rule is, for me as a player, not enforced by anyone but myself, and for my players at my table, is during the game we argue once, I make a temporary ruling, and we can decide in between sessions.
Yep, that's fair. That's a good one.
There's an efficiency.
It's very responsible of you.
No one has fun to watching maybe I do, but no one has fun watching two people argue about D&D rules for more than like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yesterday,
2 minutes is long too.
That is a very long time. You just sit there quietly while 2 people argue over like pretend. We're playing pretend, and we're very mad about it.
And everyone else just wants to like roll their dice and do their cool shit.
Yeah,
that's usually when the dice stacking happens.
Oh yeah.
The bane of any good GM is watching the dice stacking. Like, what am I doing wrong? Can we fix this? Knock that over. Pay attention. Dragon's coming. When we were discussing, we were asking around for hot takes for the later on conversation, but. There was one that was just by one of our DMs, Nick B. I'll call him in a moment. Was I say no? I love to say no. I can't wait to say no. But and the example was when people are arguing, like, well, I think the spell works this way. Oh, we're not doing that, and then goes to the next scene. Literally means no with a period on it. Like, no, you're not. Like, oh, I want to stop and like rob somebody. No, I'm not telling that story. And it's a full sentence, just no, and moves on. And it's a very powerful, and it should be used sparingly. But I do defend with like that thing, like that approach of we'll discuss it, I'll hear you out, I will then make the call. That's my job as the GM, and then we'll move on. I think that's a great way to use it.
I call that move the Willy Wonka, because I just do, I'm sorry, I'm a tad deaf in this ear. And then I just move on.
Oh my goodness.
I've said you need to open your mouth a little bit wider when you speak, and then just kept going as well.
Oh, geez.
Hey, Crystal, do you remember when you pulled that on me when we barely knew each other?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And you actually hadn't heard me, and then I felt real bad.
I had just gotten back from the bathroom, and I was like, "Can you?" Sorry, I just missed that. What's up?
But the timing was such that I thought you were making a joke.
Oh, it was so funny. It is.
But that Willy Wonka thing, I don't know if you remember, Carlo, I pulled out in a game you were in. Somebody's just like, yeah, can I go back and like murder the people we just talked to? Sorry, I didn't hear that. Moving on.
Oh my goodness. I think that's the best way, because some people don't know you're being serious. But you just say, nope, I'm good. And then you move on. They're like, well, I wanted to do that. Nope, I'm good. Moving on.
This is more a commentary in real life, but there's this weird, just this entitlement to debate. So someone can say something that's just off the wall dumb, and they feel like you have to explain to them why they're dumb. Like, I think my shoe is better used as a hat. Debate me. No, you're an idiot. I'm just going to ignore you. Sometimes it is just no. You have to debate me and convince me. No, I'm comfortable with you being an idiot.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
I need to do that in real life sometimes. I don't know. I don't have a lot of more say on the role versus role kind of thing.
I think sorry, not to cut you off.
No, you're good. I was just going to say you guys summarized it. Well, Jib summarized it pretty good in one sentence.
No.
Yeah. And now we're just continuing to expand on it. It's already been said. That player who wanted to go back and murder people, I think, was, again, just to bring it back to the original topic, was like, well, I'm a barbarian. I haven't hit anything in a while. By a while, I mean 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I has to commit violence.
It feels that way. I feel like that feels to attach it again to the wargaming part of it. Well, mechanically, that's how being in fights, that's how mechanically a barbarian acts. You don't have to be constantly punching things for no reason. You can have a lot of fun as a barbarian, which Travis Willingham has made a whole point of. When he's not, he is most fun. He has the most fun when he's hitting things. But the rest of the group had the most fun when Grog on Critical Role was just being a big, loving idiot. That's what everyone loved about him. And then when it was time to rage, he just made a meal of it. And the rest of the time, he would just he literally cried over a sandwich. Like that's why people loved him. It's the being able to do both those things.
Yep, the only thing he hated was shopping.
Yep.
But you were saying something.
Yeah, I have a great example of like playing the bad guy character, I guess, is in my current game I'm running on Monday is Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which you may have heard of. It's a published adventure. I have a player who explicitly at Session 0 says, hey, I want to play an evil character, but I want the end goal to be a redemption arc.
Oh, I love that.
That's good.
That's a fun one.
And we all knew this over the table. And his character's, I'm not going to use his real name because I don't know.
You didn't check with him if it's okay to. So
yeah. His character is this warlock who warlock who sold his soul to Mammon, Archduke of Greed.
Ooh, yeah.
Good choice.
Greed.
Yeah.
And he basically has to pay his soul off or get another soul in his place. So he's like
He has
like,
student loan debt.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I thought this was a fantasy game.
He's taken one of the other characters in the party basically under his wing as like a mentor, but the end goal is like get the other character to sign his soul away. And that character's player is having so much fun just making the Warlock's player feel so bad about himself.
I made you
fantastic.
cookies.
Oh my goodness.
It has best friends on them and icing.
I like when people get into their characters, like, being the role, and like the thought process of, character background stories and then playing that role throughout the thing, like the storyline, especially when you have such,
deep end goals.
Because how long is Waterdeep? How many sessions is that?
I sold it as 16 sessions, but it's going to be like 18 to 20 probably by the time we're done.
My guess I would have estimated 25, but it can go for a while. There's a lot to do, and if you fluff around at all, you're gonna find a lot of stuff to go play with.
It's super easy to fluff around because they give you the coolest city in the Forgotten Realms. Don't at me.
That's nice.
Hot takes later on.
And just say, have fun. This is a game about the city. The city's a character.
That's good. I just love when people, they'll think about their character a lot beforehand. And that can be a hot take, is when people take their backgrounds too seriously. But when you work together as a team for these overarching story backgrounds of redemption and pain and, team love. And I think one of our DMs, KC, his characters have like 4 different businesses that I set up within the storyline. I love that so much because I think one of them's a merchant background.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
That's like one of my favorite things. I know it's a little different than, playing the role versus being the role, but that's one of my favorite things.
It's actually super fun because her character will get in trouble and she's just like in jail and she's like, my business.
Okay, so now that we've kind of talked about being the role versus playing the role, and role LE versus role LL, and all of those in between, I do want to have a quick pause to thank our sponsor, and I'm going to give that over to Jib. Jib, tell us about our sponsor.
Yeah.
This BarHaven podcast episode is brought to you by Calm Healthcare. Founded and run by our very own BarHaven players, Calm is on a mission to make excellent healthcare affordable and accessible for all. With Calm, just sign up and get started talking to Dr. Guzman right away through secure messaging or video calls. For $50 a month, you get diagnosis, treatment, prescriptions, and direct access to a doctor anytime. No more waitlists, appointments, doctor's offices, and hidden fees. As an LGBTQ-owned and operated clinic, Calm is proud to provide a safe space to get gender-affirming care. Services include mental health diagnosis and treatment for conditions including anxiety, depression, ADHD, PTSD, and bipolar disorder. Calm also specializes in medical weight management to help you achieve and maintain a healthy weight. Have other recurring needs or just want the peace of mind of having quick and easy access to a doctor? Reach out to Calm Healthcare and find out how they can help you get the care you need. Check them out at calmhealthcaretexas.com. Use the code BARHAVEN at checkout to get 15% off your subscription. Now back to the episode.
And thank you, Jib, for that fantastic sponsor message. Thank you so much to Calm Healthcare. We're really excited.
Really cool.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of, having healthcare. My goodness. Okay. Well, our second topic for today's podcast, today's episode, is hot takes. I'm really excited for this. I have a few of my own, but I'm going to start with Jib. Jib, nope. Jib is shaking their head at me. I'm going to go right to Crystal. Crystal, what is your hot take for, I guess, D&D or any other tabletop games?
Oh, it's D&D.
Definitely.
I guess it applies to other games, but I'm talking about it in the D&D context. My hot take is, I think it's dumb to roll for stats.
Roll for stats?
Yeah, I think it's dumb to roll for stats. And if you're listening to this and going like, she is so full of shit, congratulations. That's what makes it a hot take. If everyone agreed with me,
It wouldn't be a hot take.
it wouldn't be a hot take. But listen, I understand wanting variance in characterization. I understand, since it's such a dice-heavy game, leaving a lot to the dice. But for me, all it results in is problems.
Problems.
Yeah.
Like, either you're one of the people who get all the really good stats. Congratulations, yay for you. You win, I guess. It doesn't suck. It isn't good if you're the person who gets all the low stats. The fact that you could be technically worse than a commoner does not sound like fun to me.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people, compensate for that. It's just like, oh, if the total isn't this number, then you don't have to keep it. And that sounds like point buy with extra steps.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm on the same side.
I mean, I think rolling for stats can be fun. That's what makes it a hot take, is that I don't necessarily agree. But just the sheer difference of getting an 18 on your, like, getting a 16 on the die, which is somewhat likely, meaning you can get a +2 to that stat, 18 on your primary stat. Oh my God, Kat.
Breaking the law.
You can
Breaking the
start
law.
at level 1 with an 18 in one of your stats is insane. That's
that's pretty crazy.
The power jump you get by having that compared to everyone else at the table who doesn't, like, that sucks.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Because if you wanted to have that random, we could also do, okay, someone gets +3 to everything. One person gets +2 to everything. Two of you get, one of you get -1 to everything. One of you get -2 to everything. And I'm going to roll dice to see which one of those is get. That's random. Does that sound fun? Of course not. Anyone, and generally when I've had people demand to point by, it's because they rolled when I wasn't there and they got 3 18s and a couple of 10s. Mm-hmm. But when that same person rolls 4 1s and drops 1, they immediately go like, "Can I re-roll that?" Why? I thought that was the fun of it, the risk. It's not always, but in my experience, very often, it's the person who is just looking to get a little bit of an extra bonus, and to the point of just like they almost any one of them will take it. How about this? We'll do standard array, and I'll give you and only you a +1 dagger. They will take it. They're just looking for a bonus. I mean, if you really want to just use the numbers to decide who your character is, that's fine. But it always seems the guy who doesn't really care about, or whoever, not just necessarily a guy, but it's always the player that just wants an advantage.
I mean, I'm going to be a little bit kinder than that because I feel like it triggers the gambling centers of the brain. Because nobody plays the lotto to just have paid for a lotto ticket. It's always just like, but I could win big. And I think that's where the excitement of point buy is for a lot of people. It's not necessarily power gaming. It's not necessarily getting one up on the other people. It's about but I could win. I just don't think that that's a good enough reason.
Yeah.
But if you want to, go for it.
Yeah, if the DM allows and you're up for it, go for it. Just don't complain later.
Yeah, again, if it works for everyone at your table, then it works for your game. It's just not a table I want to be at.
Yeah. I think that's a good hot take.
Do you want me to go next? Because my one, for yay, I will be crucified.
Oh.
I will speak the truth, and they will hate me for it.
All right, Carlo, I want to hear this. What is your hot take?
Artificer is a stupid class.
Wow.
Yeah.
Flavor-wise, it makes no sense for D&D. It is, I want to be a wizard, but I don't want to be at risk of having any of the wizard's weaknesses. Why can't I have heavy armor? Because you're a wizard. No, I'm not an artificer. Why can't I have a gun? You can. There's a feat for that. No, I want a gun that's also a flamethrower, and it can walk around and be my friend. What? Also, I want a robot dog. You want a robot? Why? To flex on the ranger. Like, everything about the artificer, doesn't make sense. And I do answer. I guys like, but I like it. Cool. There could also be that's this. It feels like really broken homebrew when someone's like, oh well, I'm going to take the character class of Super Saiyan. So I get all of the monk abilities, but I roll 12s for health, and you can't hurt me with mundane damage, and you can so you want to be also a monk. Well, yeah, I want the monk's abilities. Also, I want to be able to disappear. I just want a bunch of extra stuff over this other class. It's just there to make the wizard look kind of dumb. And then flavor-wise doesn't make sense, since so many spells will have things like, oh, this requires concentration. I'm going to cast a spell on you that has concentration. Are there wires? Or is it remote control? Did we invent RFID chips? How is concentration going to keep that spell up? And little tweaks of okay, the artificer can get the wizard spells list. No concentration spells. Well, no. Why? Because does it make it not overpowered? Yes, that's why it exists. And I think there's a better option, which I always go to whenever someone gets mad at me for saying this. But I like it. I get that you like it. I'm still right. In Final Fantasy 6 or 3, if you speak American, there was a prince, Prince Figaro, who was a engineer in a fantasy world, in a steampunk. It's the steampunk Final Fantasy game. So there's the rogue who can steal things and stab people. There's the magic user that uses spirits of the dead to do stuff. There's a creepy creature, animal creature that steals powers from the different monsters. And one dude was like, "Hey, I invented a chainsaw." "What's that?" "Chainsaw through the bad guy." "Hey, I built an auto crossbow." Like he built machines as he leveled up. He got more and more powerful machine options. So he's like, oh, I have this thing. He creates like a flash bomb, so you can blind a bunch of characters as opposed to blind, which only works on one character. But he got that at a much higher level. So all of his abilities of because I create artifice, and these are the options I get as doing that would make sense inside of a fantasy world without having to explain like, okay, how does he use mage armor?
Okay,
how did he make a flying suit of Iron Man armor?
What I'm hearing is you don't actually think Artificer doesn't belong in D&D. You just hate how it's designed.
The way it's designed doesn't belong in D&D. That's my issue with it. There's a better way to create the class that would be an artificer that is built around I built a device, as opposed to I have a bunch of spells and I wear heavy armor, or I have a robotic dog and I have all these spells and abilities that makes me just a safe version of a wizard with slightly fewer spells, admittedly,
and like half level spells too. Like you get
Slightly fewer spells is kind of a bit underselling the power difference there.
I yes.
Sure. Is it as low as like a Eldritch Knight?
No,
No.
it's more like Ranger.
Yeah. So
Because it's an actual half caster as opposed to a third caster. Yes.
Yes. I mean, like in my head, Artificer is the Ranger to Druid, or Paladin to Cleric of Wizard.
Yeah. And each class does have that, like, I'm kind of the caster, partially a caster version, or especially a caster version, or I'm the punchy version, or I'm this one, and they all kind of follow that thinking. And this does sort of do that, but just flavor wise, it just feels so homebrew style broken.
Well, first of all, you are completely entitled to your wrong opinion.
As I said, being correct offends those because they like it.
Second of all,
Oh, you don't like it?
here's where I think you're being unfair. It's not that you don't like the class. It's not that you feel like they shouldn't have spells or concentration spells. I'm actually with you there. What personally I think that you're kind of being a dick about is like, oh, you just want to be a wizard with heavy armor. No, I just want a little science in my fantasy game.
Yes, that could be done way better than making a wizard with heavy armor.
But you're saying that's why people want to play it. That's not why I chose to play it. That's not why a lot of people I know who want to play Artificers want to play it. I played an Alchemist Artificer. You cannot accuse me of power gaming.
No. But this does bring me to my point. It is a very poorly designed class.
I love Artificer. This is a true hot take because I'm seething in the corner right now.
Oh yeah, and everyone listening to is like, I thought he liked D&D. He has never played D&D in his life. I'm like,
No. I do congratulate you on an excellent hot take. This is a very good hot take.
I think because I love my first explanations for what an artificer was supposed to be. I got very excited for, and it became this this just very weird, convenient clump of things that didn't rely on it being like, well, this is artifice. It should be based on artifice. And I know part of the reason is because the system of D&D doesn't really allow for it. That's why Alchemist feels broken. If I can take alchemy as a skill and make a potion, how come an alchemist-based artificer has to make every day a random potion? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm guessing, because the rules are already there for making a health potion. Every day you can make a potion for free, and you can choose from this list. At level 8, it becomes this list, and you can now make 2. So swap out the spell points for the different potions you can make and the number of potions you can make over the course of a long rest. You can have, say, however much your proficiency bonus worth of potions on you, and that many based on what level you're at, which ones you can have. And then you can have things that are like, oh no, yeah, I can absolutely make at level 8 I can make a potion of sharpness. Let me make your weapon a +3/+3, and it's going to stay that way. It'll stay that way through the rest of the, for an hour long or the rest of the day or whatever. That would feel like an alchemist is changing the field of battle, as opposed to, well, I can't do any of that, but even though I'm level 10, I have 2 random spells I rolled for. Sorry, they're not helpful today. I guess I'll rely on my spell list. Like I feel like there's a way that could have done it that exists inside of everything else. Because alchemy exists, creating things exists in D&D, it doesn't make sense of a class that does it, and they can just make the same spells a wizard can, but fewer of them, and then here's a weird gimmick that we've kind of just stapled onto it. And when I say like, oh, it was built for that and no one else, is hyperbole. Of course, other people can like play it and want to play the class. I think there's a way that would make it that would fit with D&D and not feel like broken homebrew.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I don't think you've ever played with or an artificer in Eberron, which is the setting it's designed for. And I know I've heard a lot of tale of, like, I'm not going to lie, I just like artificer regardless. But I've heard a lot of tale of a lot of Eberron stuff not really porting well to other settings because it is designed for this very specific setting.
Oh, that's another hot take of mine. Things that are built for a setting should remain in that setting. Although we did this with BarHaven in general, of adding you can choose anything as of a book if it's legal, even though they don't really mix that well. Artificer is part of that. It doesn't really mix with Forgotten Realms. It fits inside of Eberron, which Eberron is, I know, a setting that's close to your heart. I've eminently enjoyed some of the novels. I haven't read all of them. I don't pretend otherwise. I love the noir history of it. That's kind of it's a fantasy world of noir. That's the point of Eberron to an extent.
And steampunk.
But that's why that fits really well. That's why it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb when you have it you use it in other worlds. Where inside of it, sure, I still feel like it's built in a weird, funky way that kind of, for me, takes a lot of fun out of it. I have not played in Eberron, but I absolutely have played an Artificer. I played the one with the big robo dog. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't enjoy the guns. I love guns in D&D. I enjoy having guns in D&D, but I didn't like the walking around flamethrower little buddy gun that the Artificer gets. Because it just, flavor-wise, like, why is this here?
My one Artificer thing is, a lot of people like to flavor their Artificers as every single spell they do is actually like a gadget. Mm-hmm. And I find that breaks down at some of the spells in the Artificer spell list.
Very quickly, yeah.
To be fair, the book encourages that.
I agree.
Yeah.
The book encourages that, and that's part of why we do that. So I guess my criticism is more with the book and the spell list. But I love Artificer. It's one of my favorite classes, and Carlo's an idiot, so...
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Like I said, every time I was like, no, I like it. I get that you like it, but I'm still right.
Yeah, but I like it and I'm right. So how are we going to conflate this?
Oh, we can both be right.
I like that one.
Okay.
Okay, well, I have no opinion on Artificers because I've never played one, nor have had one at my table. So...
we got to make you... Okay, get the dice.
Okay.
Oh, my
Jack needs
goodness.
to play an Artificer.
I'll pull out the emergency pack.
Yeah, emergency pack.
I do have an emergency pack. They're little tiny metal dice and some little bandolier.
Oh, cute.
That's
I think
fun.
my hot take, and my hot take, I feel like a lot of people have the same hot take. I think too many D&D races have dark vision.
Yeah. I don't know how hot that take is.
I know. I think it's kind of a standard one.
I defend how many have it on one condition. If you play dark vision correctly, where it's actually not that useful. If the lights go out in a room, you do not get to declare you have dark vision and you can see everything in the room. You are blind. Dark vision is with no light, with very little light, you can kind of see some shapes. If you're playing it that way, all the torch in the light goes. All the torches in the room blink out at once. Ooh, can I look or make a perception check to see if there's anything there? Do you have dark vision? No, then no, you can't. It's a dark room. I have dark vision. You can make a perception check at disadvantage. Disadvantage? Yeah, because you have dark vision. Otherwise, you would just fail the check because looking around means nothing. You're blind.
My biggest dark vision gripe is like how annoying it is to play like a stealth character who doesn't have dark vision.
I agree.
Like even if you're playing dark vision correctly, like a stealth character wants to be in the dark. Mm-hmm. Nah, my rogue's carrying around a torch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I homebrew an item just has it's a silver ring with a little cat's eye jewel in it that allows you to cast dark vision for an hour once a day. And they just every rogue just finds one on the floor if they don't already have dark vision. So it's just to even that playing field, as it's like, because the real world has had thieves and roguish characters, and humans don't have the level of dark vision in this game. So I like to overcome it with that, but inarguably, pretty much everybody.
And it's just like nobody wants to add a new race that doesn't have dark vision, because then no one will want to play it. But surface elves shouldn't have dark vision. That should be a distinction between them and the drow.
Absolutely. Cats should have dark vision, because cats
don't get me started.
And therefore Tabaxi should have dark vision.
See, the thing is, Tabaxi do.
Yeah.
And Tabaxi do because of their cat-like eyes. The cat-like eyes of creatures that do not have dark vision.
Yeah.
Fun. That's my only kind of hot take. There was another one that I was reading about, which is...
I have one now, finally.
Oh, okay. I was just going to bring up CR, because I hate CR.
Well, yeah, everyone hates CR. Go ahead.
Everyone hates CR.
That's pretty much my entire thing, is I hate CR, and I think it's dumb and pointless.
Hey, Jack, what's your challenge rating?
My challenge rating?
Yeah, of Jack, the human.
Oh.
Ooh.
That's a good question. At least a 4.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, the characters that are needed to defeat you are 4 level, isn't it like the rule, like 4 level ends is approximately equivalent to a CR end?
I don't have an equation.
Yeah.
Because the equation doesn't work.
It doesn't.
No, it
That's
really
why
doesn't.
I don't like it.
Well, it is a extremely loose guideline. And unfortunately, we should make a note. This should be a GMC. Actually, just finding CR should be, like, setting up CR for fight should absolutely be a gaming masterclass, because it is not based on the numbers exactly. The CR level is just a place to start shopping. It reminds me of some very good advice I got for thrift shopping. As a chunkier gentleman, of a rather large. I'm a big dude. The key to thrift shopping is not to look for what looks good or what looks interesting to wear. Don't look for clothes that look good. Don't worry about that. Get your size. Get a couple of tops. Get some pants. Get a couple of things. Get your size. Does it look like it's going to fit you right? Good. Try it on. Look in the mirror. Do you like what you see? Buy it. Do you not like what you see? Don't buy it. If you look for something, ooh, that looks really cool, I bet I would look good in that. Oh, it's too small. Oh, it's too big. Oh, it's whatever. You're gonna just you're gonna have a terrible time. You have to just get your size, try it out. I'm not usually one for a faded suede jacket with fringe. Try it on. Maybe it looks great. It didn't look terrible, but it might have looked good. And the important thing is I tried it. But that is, CR kind of works that way, where by the math, the suggestion would be for 4 or 5 CR half creatures. That's where you start shopping. And then you look around and see, what kind of synergies do I have? Because the first thing CR misses is synergies. Because there are, I like to, when I did my TPK, I did level 1/4 or 1/2 shadows. Shadows do permanent strength damage. Every time they hit you, that you lose a D4 of your strength stat. And if it goes to 0, you're instantly dead. Nothing can save you. But since they're like CR half or something, at a level 5 fight with 5 players, you can have 20 of them on the board. Like I said, it's very easy. TPK is easy. You just throw things like that at them. But if you add that to something that demands strength checks to not go prone. So a Minotaur at CR 4, you can still throw a good 6 shadows at them. Strength is constantly being dropped. They're constantly getting knocked prone, which means advantage on attack from the shadows, and the Minotaur charges in for I think it's like 4d8 damage every round, with the shadows doing a couple of d6 and a d4 of strength damage. But the CR is fair, not if you put the synergies together.
Yeah, and then on the other hand, if you're something like a shadow that's vulnerable to radiant damage, and your party contains, let's say, a Scourge, Aasimar, Zealot, Barbarian,
No.
the shadows just pop.
Exactly.
especially when the party also has a paladin. This is a one-shot I ran.
Exactly. There are things you can take out a party that didn't bring a holy person very quickly with a bunch of ghouls out there paralyzing everybody. There's the synergies and the extra little abilities. The way those stack can double a CR fight very quickly, which is a long-winded way of saying I agree. A CR is not calculated well at all. It's kind of stupid, but it is. Oh, it's so much work. It is so much extra work they put on us.
Okay. Well, those are my only two hot takes. I'm going to move to Jib.
Yeah.
I think we might have been like vaguely talking about this before the podcast, but roll less dice.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think this take is that hot anyways, but...
There are going to be plenty of those with, roll more dice. I want dice to be everything.
Less ability checks.
Less across the board?
Yeah, just
Ooh,
do
okay.
less of them. Like if a player, like I know a lot of the times like a DM like will improv an ability check for like a player wants to do XYZ, like you're an artificer, sorry, who wants to look at this contraption.
Don't apologize to him.
That was a snide, sorry. That was like a, sorry, I should have, let me rephrase. Sorry.
There you go.
There you go.
It's all in the delivery.
The like you're an artificer, you want to like take a look at this thing. I just say like, you know what, take 10 minutes looking at it, it's fine.
Yeah.
You get a decent amount of information. You don't even need to roll for it.
That's what I do in my games, because half the time I'm like, well, they need to know this information, and if they fail, then where does the story go from there?
Yeah.
So might as well tell them.
You're an 18th strength barbarian, you want to bust down a flimsy wooden door.
Yeah, that IKEA furniture is not holding back the barbarian. Now, I do want, because I can hear them. I can hear the grognards yelling. The old school rule was calling taking 10 or taking 20. Was literally taking 10 minutes to go do something that, realistically, if you had the time to do it, you would catch it. Rolls are supposed to be like, what can you do in that 6-second moment? But it has become relied upon that, well, if you have more time, I'll just throw advantage on it. But I'm a big believer on story reasons. You just can do that. A lot of people forget, and this is based on the rules again. Backgrounds have things like if you are a fisherman or a sailor, you can find boat passage for free pretty easily. Like if you need a boat passage, and it's a story element thing, but that makes sense. If you are a fisherman background and you all are on a boat, no, you don't have to make a survival check. You'll get fish. And you know which fish to eat. You are a fisherman. If you are a former merchant, you should be able to get a discount. In fact, if you're in a town you're from, I would even say you could get roll 2d6. That's how many healing potions you can just pick up from a friend. Hey, you did them a favor back when you ran your market. Now that they're running a shop, they take care of you. Like that's sort of like. You don't have to do a shopping trip. You don't have to make an insight check to see what they want, then make a persuasion check or deception check because you really want those. You can definitely skip all that by going, well, story-wise, this just makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's get to the party. Let's get to the fights.
Yeah, another thing. I remember seeing you reading the Kids on Bikes book a couple of days ago.
Yes,
they have the like planned action versus
snap decision.
And with a planned action, you can just choose to take half your take your average, right?
Yeah, you can just like essentially declare, I'm going to take my half roll is, will that do? Yep, cool, moving on. Because, yeah, the argument to roll more is essentially, but I like the noise it makes. Like, not to be unfair about it.
It's a real good noise.
It's a real good noise.
Such a good noise.
Everyone likes the click clacks, but there are things where we don't really need to roll. We simply don't need to roll it. And 5th edition. I will swing on 5th edition. I love it, but I will swing on it. Has made people kind of rely on the fact like we should be rolling more often, right? Let's roll for pants. Did everyone wear their pants today? Roll to see if you wore pants. An old rule at my table that I learned from someone a long, long time ago was you don't have to check to see if your character put on pants that day. If you're a wizard, you cast mage armor. If you're a warlock that has free mage armor, of course you have it up. Why would you not have it up? It lasts 8 hours. So it's a rule of pants. There are certain things that you don't have to roll. You can find a pen. You don't have to make an investigation check. The cats.
Cool.
There was a minor cat attack. We apologize for that inconvenience.
Yeah, my laptop survived, I think.
Okay, well, I think that brings us to the end of hot takes, unless we have any last minute ones that you just want to leave the listeners with.
I think we should come back to this topic again in future.
Oh, I will bring in
as we
players
harvest
for this.
more.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And if anyone listening is like, well, here's my hot take. If you have a response and you'd like to yell at me for the Artificer thing, go ahead and, I don't know, find me on Twitter.
This goes on YouTube. There's a comment section.
Yeah, there's a
yes,
whole
please
comment
engage. Tell me I'm an idiot. But if you think you're right, you do have to hit that you like it. So you have to hit like, then call me an idiot, and I will agree with you that I'm an idiot.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Okay, well, before we kind of end things off, I want to do some announcements.
Ooh.
Just as this episode probably comes out in the next month or so, we'll find out. We are super excited. If you don't know, we have Game Master classes, which if you want to know a little bit more about the 4 pillars, you can watch our first YouTube video on that, or come to these GMCs, Game Master class, to learn skills that, will hone your knowledge and your ability and your hosting level, like making all your games, I won't say perfect, but cooler,
There's
more
no perfect.
entertaining.
Perfect is a destination that you will never reach. It is simply a direction you walk.
And I believe if you want to know when those are, you can either check the calendar on our website or in our Discord, correct?
Yes, all of our information is on the Discord, on the website, on our social media. All of that will be in the links in at least the YouTube video. If this is on Apple Podcasts later, there's probably a Linktree link in there somewhere where it has all of our information. If you're interested in playing D&D, we have events pretty much every day now. All of that is also on our website, on our monthly calendar and weekly calendar that comes out on Sundays. Or you can just hang out in our Discord channel because we have like 1,000 people on there now.
We have really cool stuff, threads, very popular reoccurring event of a guy doing laundry.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I kind of enjoy that though.
He has a sugar glider. It's adorable.
But as we wrap up this thing, I'm going to do our little who we are. So I'm Jack. I'm the coordinator with BarHaven.
I'm Carlo Magana. I'm the master of fables.
I'm Crystal Paris. I'm the maven of coin.
I'm Jib. That's only part of my name. You don't get the rest.
Wow. And thank you so much for listening to the BarHaven podcast. Watch out for episode 4 coming out soon, and we'll see you next time.
If you hear booyog, it's too late.